time. We were so close that I wanted to see a few things progress, and I wanted to have some updates on our testing protocols. So I'll start with the great news, which is that our system now is fully pressurized in all 9 zones. What we were waiting for earlier this morning, we had one zone that was holding out on us. And so, got to a point where we now have full pressure in all 9 zones. We started sampling, so I'll take us back to what the plan is to actually lift the boil water advisory. This is a 2-step test, right? So the first step is, now that we're fully pressurized, we will test multiple samples across the system. Those have to be sent to the lab, looked at the lab, and then 16 hours, if that test is that 16 hours after that, we do a second round of samples. The goal is 2 consecutive negative tests 16 hours apart, and that is the point at which we can raise this boiled water advisory. If all goes well, we should be able to do that tomorrow or early Saturday. So really hoping for good results here, knowing that this is, as I said yesterday, a very low probability occurrence that we have contamination. I'm feeling very optimistic about this, but we need to work through the testing protocols with our partners at VDH. Just some statistics. We're up, 19 filters are up, 5 water pumps pumping, 72 million gallons a day. And remember, that's well above what our average utilization is this time of year, which is 45 million gallons a day. The reservoir is above 18 feet. So we have a full reservoir, and that's what ultimately led to us getting to pressure across the system at this point. And that's being validated by a lot of the anecdotal reports. You know, I think even in about 10 a.m. this morning, we still had parts of the far reaches of eastern Henrico that hadn't had full pressure, but we're starting to hear that that's all getting better now. So we have started the first tests, right, where we pull multiple samples. Those are in process and started a couple hours ago, the process of being collected and analyzed in the lab. And so our second round will be about 16 hours. Sorry, I don't have the exact time of when those samples will go in, but it's within the last hour or so. So we'll produce a schedule later this afternoon of when those tests actually started and when the 16-hour clock starts for test number 2. And as I said again, if things continue at this pace and everything looks good, we should be able to lift that boil water advisory sometime between tomorrow and Saturday. Our team is on alert for water main breaks during this time. Right now, we do have a couple that have been reported. Our DPU teams are out looking at those. Now, 2 in a day like this where we have cold temperatures is not uncommon. We've had days in the past where we've had 3 to 5 in a day, even without this water crisis in the background. So that does not surprise us. I mean, again, it's something we've been on alert about, both because of infusing water in the system, but also because of the cold temperatures. Another thing we want to do is just share a little bit about planning as we head into this next weather event. I know a lot of what we talked about yesterday and a lot of what we've been working on the last couple of days is just making sure that we've got things lined up to minimize the impacts if we do have another outage. So a few of those things that we have been doing: testing battery backups, making sure that the generators are working, increasing the staffing and surveillance roles at the plant during the weather event. We've worked with Dominion. They are on high alert, and we'll make sure they're monitoring power to us throughout. We've had continued commitment from our regional partners to have additional staff, mechanics, technicians, electricians, engineering functions on standby. And then, as I said, increasing the frequency of our site inspections across all of those different operational components, and then making sure that our IT contractors who support that computer system that oversees the whole water operation will be on site and monitoring with us. So really looking thoroughly at all of the different components of the system, making sure that we have the right experts either on site or a call away, and increasing our surveillance and monitoring if we are to have another outage to make sure we prevent this from happening again. So we are, at this point, just continuing to encourage some conservation, but primarily the boiled water advisory, right? We, again, I shared yesterday, it is low risk, but we want to, out of an abundance of caution, we want to make sure with those 2 consecutive tests that there's no risk to people consuming it. I've received a lot of questions about can I take a shower, right? I've heard anecdotes of people actually going and getting bottled water to shower in. That is not needed. The water coming through the pipes, whatever, that low risk of bacteria is only harmful if swallowed, if consumed. People should absolutely feel free to take quick showers, get cleaned up, do that with the water that's coming through your pipes. Similarly, for washing dishes, okay to do that with the water that's coming through pipes. And then we will absolutely keep you all updated about the progress with our testing and when we can ultimately lift that boiled water advisory. And in the meantime, we will continue to stand up our bottled water dispensing efforts, and I'll invite Tracy to share a little bit more.